All right, so I've said before that Paul, you had to sign a contract on Paul's tour that you would not have sexual relations with his daughters because they traveled on the tour with him. But Mary was like, they were in their early 20s, Mary and Stella there. Mm-hmm. And I was there in the bar with some of the crew. Because I joined the tour, it was like mid-tour in a way. Mm-hmm. You know, there was a hiatus and then we were in Tokyo. And the guys at the bar said, because his daughters are there. Also his son James was there, but he wasn't in the contract. You could have sex with him anytime. Yeah. I'm not sure anyone took him up on it. But anyway, the guys, then I was the only American. These are like British guys, maybe a Scottish guy. He's staring in his drink. Because all day long they have to look at these young, beautiful women. And he's like, that Mary, that Stella. If only I didn't sign that contract, that damn contract. And I said, what contract? He said, what do you mean, what contract? You didn't sign the contract? I said, what contract? The contract that says you can't have sex with his daughters. That contract. I said, no, I never signed anything like that. Because I think probably because I joined in the middle of the tour, so they just forgot, to have me sign it. Not that I would be able to do it anyway, but he says, what? You didn't sign the contract? Listen, man, you got to have sex with Mary right away.
Right away.
I said, why right away? And how can I do it? I've only met her twice there. It takes time. You need flowers and the whole thing, romance. He says, yeah, and when you do it, don't use a condom. I said, what? Don't use a condom? Why? He said, wouldn't you like to have a Beatle baby? So that was part of the tour there. You sort of learn your lesson. But, I was always nice to the girls when I had a chance to talk to them. Mm-hmm. Paul had a number of parties in his penthouse, and I was invited to them. So I could talk to them because we were about the same age at the time and everything like that. Very sweet.
Awesome.
But, Paul led to Sting, working with Sting. And because, where do you go from Paul McCartney? You go down to Sting.
There's really no going up from there.
You don't go up. So I took a few steps down the ladder to Sting. But still, he's great. Anyway, they were like, he was doing a concert in Bangkok, Thailand,
Nice.
And they're just going to fly me out for a one-off, and I was just going to be there for one night and one day, and then I fly back to New York, I said, God damn, because that's a long flight,
Yeah.
But anyway, I get flown there, and his whole crew. I was very good friends with Sting's manager. He had Miles Copeland, but he had a second manager, a New York guy. Anyway, everyone gets to Bangkok, and we're almost done.
Okay.
Everyone gets to Bangkok, I don't know what time, but they get there, in time for dinner, They flew from London, I'm flying from New York, and my flight was delayed like hell. So I didn't get to the hotel in Bangkok until like probably 2 a.m. or something like that.
Wow.
And they're all asleep at that point.
Course.
So I'm in there, and there's nobody there, just one kid who works there, He says, I'll show you to your room, He takes me to the room there. He says, is there anything I can do for you, I said, well, I'm kind of hungry, He says, oh, the kitchen is closed, but I can get you some shrimp and some other things.
How? The kitchen's closed.
As a favor. Maybe he was going to cook it himself. I don't know how he's doing it. I said, oh, that'd be great. He says, just call the front desk and ask for trainee. And I was like, and he had a name tag that said trainee on it. Mm-hmm. So we were, all right, he's a trainee. He's going to cook my shrimp, and he's a trainee. But he doesn't know how to do anything. He's just learning there. Mm-hmm. And he goes, yeah, ask for trainee. And I said, okay, but what's your name? He says, my name, trainee. Mm-hmm. it was his name.
Yeah.
So he is actually experienced. Anyway, so Paul, Sting's other manager there, the next morning he said, Michael, what happened to you? Why didn't you show up? I said, well, my flight was delayed, whatever. He said, well, Sting rented out the penthouse there, and there were 10 of us, and he had 10 whores.
And you missed out?
And he said, But you didn't show up. So now there were 9 of us with 10 horse. And we had to sit there and wait until Sting decided which of the 2 bitches he wanted for himself.